Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Adjacent with Jace, the tabletop introduction and discussion brought to you by the Black Tower Stories. I am your host, Jace, and with me today, a cosplay couple of DFW, proud founding members of the Critter Crew, brimming with experience from decades past, not being too serious, making moments last, with Handles, Miho Mouse, and Glitchmatic. They made a whole house that's not static, keeping reality in games so we don't misinterpret. Please welcome now James and Margaret. Hello.
Yay.
Hi.
I only slightly
Hello.
stumbled.
That was
Hi.
fantastic.
That was good.
Thank you. It is very hard to rhyme Margaret with things, which I learned in the process of writing
True.
this. But thank you guys for coming. I'll be introduced most of the time when we do Adjacent with Jace on here. It is just a recap and kind of banter with the players of the Black Tower Stories. And occasionally, though, I get awesome guests to come on and kill some time with me as we go over outside of the game stuff. And this is, as I mentioned at the intro, Miho Mouse and Glitchmatic. They're great cosplayers and great friends and great D&D fun people to be around. James and Margaret, glad you all could be here.
Thank you.
We're really glad to be here.
Sorry for the delay. Turns out I am stupid and did not turn my headset on, and I thought it was them not having their microphone set up. And I've been doing this for 3
Something
years.
is wrong. Something is wrong with our computer too. So
I'm taking the silver bullet. But thank you. If you want to look around the lovely tavern here, today's special is unlabeled potions. Who knows what they might have? And that's about it. Well, I thank you guys for showing up. I know that you're still recuperating from Dragon Con, so I would like to talk about that for just a little bit. But I would also like to get everyone to kind of know who you all are. So there's no video this time. We had some video issues, but I put up the photos of your guys' amazing cosplays on here as well. That way they could at least see you. So I'll start off with, how long ago did this whole thing start? The Critter Crew is an awesome group, and I'm so glad to be part of it and help out any chance I get. But kind of give us a brief intro of yourselves. When did you just D&D? How'd that incorporate into your life? And get started with this idea for getting a group of D&D watching enthusiasts together.
well, I'm old, so I started in 1985
Play D&D.
playing D&D, and we when I got married to her, we were watching Harmon Quest, and she was very interested in D&D. So I said, I got all the books, we'll start a group, and we started with Jerry was one of our group, and so was other people, and we were watching also Critical Role in the second campaign, and we started making cosplays and playing, and then I said, hey, let's start a group, okay? And rest is history, man.
Yeah, because you played D&D for decades,
I've been playing D&D for decades.
but you also cosplayed a while back too.
I started in 2009, so
And you had started a different.
I started a group called DFW Cosplay Gallifrey.
So James had already had experience setting up a cosplay group, and when I started getting interested into D&D, he's like, "Oh, let's watch Harmon Quest." I was like, "What's D&D?" And he's like, "Oh, I have everything to teach you how to do it." So I was like, "That's great." But I'm nervous about making a mistake, right? Because women, if we can't knock something out of the park or excel right away, we won't try anything new. But I was like, well, what's a campaign I can watch where they start at level 1? He said, oh, Critical Role's about to start the second campaign. I've heard they start at level 1. So we fell in love with that. We're playing D&D, then started cosplaying from Critical Role, and that's when James is like, I'm sure there are other people out there that like D&D and Critical Role and cosplay. So that's when he's like, let's start up another group on Facebook.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Was it 2017 or was it 2018 or was it around?
I think 20, because it's been 5 years. In January we came up on the 5-year mark.
So 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I didn't know, James. I didn't know you started cosplaying in 2009. So we technically have been cosplaying for the same amount of time.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Wow.
That's when
Yeah.
I started. I went to convention like the year before, but I didn't start cosplaying until that year. So, yeah, that's neat. I've been in a few failed cosplay groups, and so I'm glad this is primarily like the Critter Crew is not just cosplaying; it is also meeting up with fellow people, communicating about the game itself, cosplaying the characters, and just discussion of most things tabletop and nerdy. So it's fun.
Right.
Yeah. I started playing cosplaying in 1993, but
That's cheating.
we'll talk
I
about
was
that.
3.
I know. I'm old.
You're the elder of the Critter Crew group.
Yeah.
I'm old AF, you know. So anyway.
But you two have together. Like I first started seeing you guys at conventions in like before I guess the Critter Creating started. Cause I believe like I saw you as Ford, and it was probably around that same time frame, 2018, 2019. And just guys like, oh, cool. I love the cosplay. I love Critical Role. I don't cosplay Critical Role despite me cosplaying other stuff. But that's like seeing you guys at Scarborough, Ren Fair, full body paint in some situations. Like, man, those guys are brave. I would never wear full body paint at Scarborough Fair. That would be a terrible idea. Yeah, I know how hot it is. I've made that mistake recently, though.
Yeah, look at you now.
Look at me now. Choosing a character that's mostly full body paint.
Yeah. And you because Scarborough's outside, sometimes there's years where it's rainy. Not only that, but you've set a new low bar.
Yeah.
In that full body paint cosplay is one thing, but doing it in the rain is a whole nother level of terrifying that you have now accomplished. And you're like, well, at least it's not raining. Yep.
When we were first cosplaying Critical Role at Scarborough, it rained.
Yes.
And she was like, "Don't talk to me." I'm like, what?
Every time he reached for me, just this sheet of green rain would come off his face, come off his arm, and I'm like, oh. But yeah.
Well, that was good because we were knighted by the king at Scarborough. Because he was a big critter. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
You know? Yeah.
You toughed it out. You get knighted now.
Yeah.
Worst part about that this last year when it was pouring down rain is that it was also really humid and hot, so you were sweating and getting soaked.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It was a fun experience, at least. I was glad I could do it at that time. But I want to delve into some more questions. We kind of have an idea of who you guys are, other than just being really talented cosplayers, but also being fans of Critical Role. You guys, I want to go into the Dragon Con stuff because I want to talk about y'all meeting some of the most famous nerds in the world. How
I think so,
Dragon Con?
Oh,
it was amazing, but it was too big.
Yeah, it's just a lot of people. They're so the Marriott, I think, is where people see most of the photos coming out.
And that was where they shot Loki, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of where they have the interesting architecture. But that host hotel gets so crowded.
Oh my god.
It's just wall-to-wall people. It's outside in Atlanta. Like all the group meetups are great. They're huge.
Yeah.
But people are really nice, kind of trade trinkets and ribbons. But they're all outside in 98-degree heat. So
Georgia.
Yeah. So you could bring your best costumes, but just know you're gonna be drenched.
Yeah.
Probably 3 times every day.
And I'm used to that because I'm from Georgia, you know?
It's just a different beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw some of the videos from it, and it looks like the Critical Role meetup was massive again. People were getting directed with
huge.
a megaphone. I was scouring through the videos, like, oh, who's over there? Who's cosplaying as the weird abstract thing from the show? I didn't see anything particular. Did you guys see anything? Like
there was a cosplayer. There was a cosplayer that was Fire Fern.
Yeah.
And there was a cosplayer that was.
He was like
well,
something made of magma or something. Like,
yeah.
He was with us with Campaign 3.
Yeah.
I think when they were kind of the Bell's Hells were in that place with lava.
Yeah.
Trying to get something away from Ludinus. There was like some type of like creature or something kind of made out of. Yeah, he looked like he was made out of lava rock.
Oh, was that that red character?
It was the red guy, yeah.
I saw like the shoulder of him. Like, I don't know what this is. I'm not all the way into Campaign 3 or like all finish of Campaign 2. I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But it's very abstract.
We'll like get caught up like on people's recaps, but there's a fair amount of episodes where we fall asleep during the middle. So I think he might have been from one of those episodes where we fell asleep in the middle.
Sleepy episodes. All right.
Yeah.
In like Scarborough, there was the Flattened Vax cosplayer, which is also abstract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also like with the meetups and stuff, are you, Jace? Because you've been cosplaying a while. Do you remember what old Akon used to be at the? I forgot what hotel in Dallas.
It was at the Sheraton, and then it went to the Amp.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Akon
I didn't go during those years.
And never again.
Well, Akon, imagine. It was by the end of Akon's run there. It was always jam packed. There was way too many people. It was too big, and that's one of the reasons.
It's the third largest anime convention in the U.S.
So Dragon Con is kind of like 3 Akons, like in 3 separate hotels put together. But they have like different tracks, like a sci-fi, and there's like older. It's not just anime. They have like sci-fi track, horror, D&D.
Yeah.
Which Akon did have a lot of D&D programming the last year. It was like the last 2 years. They were in Irving, and they had like Dingo Doodles and who was the other guy?
Puffin Forest.
Puffin Forest.
He's on YouTube.
Yeah, but it did feel like
funny.
It did feel like three.
If you ever heard of someone mention absurd or
character,
character, that's what they're referring to.
Yes.
Yes.
Forest.
The multi-class.
I saw the photos from Dragon Con on Wednesday, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I am not a crowd person. I'm a be out and about, but with other people kind of person, and that's too many people.
Yeah. That's what people were saying. Like, they were like, oh, Wednesday's the new start of Dragon Con. People are like, why stop at Wednesday? Why? Yeah. How about July is the new Thursday?
I got there a month early.
Exactly.
I went through 3 other conventions to get the spot line.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I'm glad. Was Dragon Con rated out of a 10 of your experience there? Because I know it was a really big one. Last year you guys went to Gen Con.
Gen Con, yeah.
So
it was bigger than Gen Con. I think it was about a 7.
Yeah.
Because of crowds, you know.
The good thing about it is, like all the people were nice. It's more ethnically diverse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's so many more black nerds.
Yeah.
In Atlanta, it's amazing to see when it's a little bit more multicultural. So that was great. Like, the people were great, but the crowding. We had James's wheelchair with us, and trying to get through the crowds was like parting of the Red Sea. It was like really difficult, and the crowds and the heat. Like, no matter where you went, it was hot. You were hot. You were sweating.
I am determined to get strong because I want to move around like I used to, you know.
Do the opposite.
Yeah.
Just build a cow catcher at the front of the wheelchair. Just plow people out of the way.
They had the vehicle from Mystery Men.
Yeah.
It has that.
It's the most non-lethal vehicle ever invented.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, but we got through a lot of lines. We got into the bunny hutch because we had the wheelchair. He had the disability sticker.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have waited like 2 hours in line.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
I have always wanted to march in the parade, so I didn't march in the parade. But next time, if we go back, I'm gonna march in the parade. I'm gonna get strong and march in the parade.
Yeah.
Glad to hear Dragon Con was a complete failure. The 7 is a solid convention. That's something we
Yeah.
go back to kind of thing. And the bad parts aren't really their fault. I'm assuming it's just too popular.
Yeah.
Not much you
it's
can do.
not, and we're lucky in this area to actually have.
Yeah.
Like Anime Fest has a. Yes.
Yeah.
And Anime Fest had a lot of that camaraderie too, where, you remember just hanging out at night. People start like dance circles right outside the vendor hall. It had that vibe just magnified, times 3 or 4.
God,
but
raves.
we have a lot of that stuff here, like Anime Frontiers getting bigger, and they have they incorporate dance parties and stuff. So
It's good because we have a lot of conventions here in the DFW area, but it does feel like most of them have that corporate feel, like Fan Expo. Those ones are basically run by the same type of companies, and they don't. Their focus is get the big guests in, big ticket draw, and then shut it down at the end, and that's it. The smaller, less large corporate ones still have that vibe to them, and I really hope those never die out, because those are really the ones that keep me wanting to go to conventions.
Right, yeah.
So I'm gonna pivot now. We're done with Dragon Con. It's in the past. It's like years away now. We won't ever refer to it ever again. But I want to get into you guys' Critical Role cosplaying and kind of what that delves into, because you guys started cosplaying all kinds of characters you've cosplayed. I'm gonna just guess between the both of you, from just Critical Role, 10 characters between the two of you. Does that seem right?
Probably. Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, like one from
so
each campaign.
She beat me in campaign 3. She does Keyleth, Vex, and Pike. So she's done all 3 of the females.
Oh yeah.
And I've done Percy and Scanlan. Yeah. So that's 1.
That's 5
in
campaign 1.
Yeah. In campaign 2, I've done Ford. Is that it?
I guess so, yeah.
Ford. And she's done Jester. And who else?
Just I think just Jester.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've only done
Bo. I have done Bo.
She's done Bo and Jester. And I've only done Ford.
Ford, yeah.
So we're already at 8.
Chetney.
Yeah. In 3, I've done Dorian, Chetney, and now Breas on screen. And she's done Fern,
and Imogen.
Imogen. Yeah. So I beat her in campaign 3.
That is 5 in the 3rd as well, so that's a total of 13. So I was.
Yeah.
Bob Barker would be proud. What closest is that going on?
And she's done. Who's that?
Prism.
Yeah.
So she's done Prism, and she's done. Who's that? In Calamity.
Who's the paladin?
Oh, Pasha. Oh, and then
You've done Pasha.
Who's within 10 feet of me? Character.
Yeah. Xerxes. And then you did. Loquacious.
That's still Critical Role, so that still counts. So I'm like halfway. Like I'm at 10, or almost at 20.
You know, and I'll tell you this, Jace, like, there was a point where I was like, I can't keep going.
No more.
And would you believe it was for Fan Expo, March of 2020, where our group, they wanted to make new cosplays for the Darrington Brigade.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, I've got to make Owlbear Man and Hazel. And I was like, I'm just getting very overwhelmed and I just need a break. And then the world was like, I got you, girl. 3 years. So during that time gave me enough time under the pandemic to like rest up and get back to it.
Like, you know who needs a break.
I was like, this is not the break I was looking for.
Like,
yeah.
You want to not cosplay? Fine. Got you. No one gets to cosplay.
I got you, man. Yeah.
You said no.
We're not
for 2 years, man.
No one. She said no cake, so no one gets cake.
Yeah.
That is ironically funny. But I'm glad that you're, even if taking a break from cosplay, because I took a break from cosplay too, and I didn't do it nearly as much as some other people did, or build as many cosplays as like you guys have done in just these 5-year span. The most I have ever brought to a convention, I did a 4 cosplay convention, and this sucks. I don't know why I did this. I brought way too much stuff. I don't want to wear this stuff anymore. So I just typically, I'm a 1 cosplay person at a time. I recently did 2 cosplays at a convention, and that was enough.
We missed your Minsk.
Yeah, we did.
Now James is like, you need to do a photo shoot on the books for Baldur's Gate, and we're gonna get Jace, and we're gonna get. I was like, okay, this is holiday season, my bro. Like, that might have to be next, because once you get into October, everybody has family, yeah.
Then you got D&D you got to plan around, like, man,
yeah.
And all the good conventions. I mean, you can do stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my minskin boo wasn't great. It was as if I just rolled out of bed wearing minskin boo clothes. Next time.
Oh, come on. It was great.
I was wearing just brown clothes, essentially, and some bracers. So, like, it'll always improve. I always have a theory, like, improve the cosplay each time you wear it. Otherwise, why are you wearing it again? And with Grog, I did something different on every single time I wore it. So, like, always improve it.
Right.
For when I did Armstrong, the only thing I ever improved was I just got fatter, so I had to wear longer clothes underneath it. Like, no more shirtless photos for me. I like to put myself down. You like to compliment me, I will put myself down, because if I don't, I'll get insulted later from friends. It's fine. But like, your guys' cosplays are amazing. Like I said, you're basically inspired me to just keep going. Because like, I wanted to cosplay Critical Role, and I had no real drive to do it. I saw you guys coming around with cosplay. I was like, oh, cool. Finally have a somewhat reason to do that. It still took me like post-pandemic to do it, but it gave me time, like you said, to get my stuff together. Push yourself out there.
There's not. And just like cosplay in general, there's not enough male cosplayers. So James always likes to have. He was like, male cosplayer. I'm gonna ask him to do this, and this. And I'm like, hold on.
She's gonna stop me.
This person needs to want to, but he likes the camaraderie.
But I want to ask him.
He likes.
He
likes uplifting male cosplayers to
Someone tells me to cosplay something, I typically do it.
We were so glad because we didn't have a grok. Yeah. And you were a godsend. Godsend.
Yeah.
It's the only character I would have cosplayed too. So.
Yeah. The only character you were born to cosplay grok, you know?
He fits my type of tall, muscular, bald. Like, oh, I like that.
Wait, you don't want to be Ford? You're leading man material, man.
I'm a support character. I'll play the cleric, background?
No,
Kiss and bless.
nah.
Those
You're leading
cute
man
girls.
material.
But I'm gonna move on this conversation because it's diverging too much to me, and I can't stand that kind of pressure. But let's delve into. I want to know your best experience at a convention. These are questions for me. I want to know these things. I don't care what people in here.
Well,
What's your
when we
worst
went to
experience at a
EC,
convention?
Do you want the best or the worst?
Best and the
first?
worst, and at the same
Okay.
time, talk over each other.
well,
You go first.
when we went to ECCC, yeah,
Please tell me what
that's
that
in
is.
Seattle. Yeah,
It's a Emerald City.
Emerald City
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. Yeah, we met up with the Oregon Critter Crew, something,
Mhm.
right? And we watched Critical Role, and we sang along with them. It was really great, and they were really gems. They were really nice. They were great, you know. And that was the first time, you know, we knew that Critters would be great, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we watched Critical Role on a live screen, you know, and sang, you know,
Mhm.
at the intro, and we sing every night at the intro of
Yeah.
Critical Role.
Yeah.
But we sang with tons of critters, you know, tons of them.
I don't know the words. I don't know the words
it was
to like
the-
any song other than Happy Birthday.
I don't think the cast does either because one of the
They're good
conventions
at reading scripts. They're not good at.
they had it. Yeah,
memorizing.
they probably memorized it at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody in the panel were singing, and you could kind of tell they were. Some of them kind of remember the words, but most of them didn't.
Yeah.
Like, Sam, you wrote it. I'm like,
Yeah. I think Sam was the one who did remember the words. Everybody else is just kind of like, her.
They're used to reading the lines and then saying them.
Yeah.
They don't have to memorize.
Yeah.
It's not their forte.
Well, and think of how, you know, they're voice actors, so
Yeah.
all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You can't, the brain can't hold all that stuff. Do you have a worst memory? A memory? I'll do my best one, and then you can come. So for me, I love meeting up with critters and other people of like the same fandom, but I will say one of my favorite interactions like at conventions is so for me, my family, I'm Mexican American through my mom's side, and I think just Mexican people as a whole have such an appreciation for like dressing up and color. They have no idea what I am.
Yeah.
But they have like the strongest reactions to the Critical Role characters, because I think when we went to DreamHack this year, where we got to meet Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Oh gosh.
But and he was amazing. But going to like get the hot dogs at the food stand, there were these Mexican ladies that were there as part of the convention center serving, and they were just like, I had the really sparkly blue and green eyeshadow for Paisha, and they were just kind of like, oh, que bonita. Just, I love that Mexican people have no fears in like getting pictures with you. They don't know what you are, but they
know who
respond.
Goku is. It's about
Yeah.
They do,
Yeah.
they love Dragon Ball.
But but they, you know, it's my people. They respond so positively to anybody who dresses up that, for me, when I told my mom I was starting a cosplay, I was really, really scared. She would be like, you know, why are you doing this in public? You know, kind of like you're making you're bringing shame to your family. And no one in my family has acted that way. I think she put one of my cosplays, it was Overwatch, on our family newsletter for the Christmas newsletter, like, and this is Margaret, and this is Mita, and she's got the blonde hair and the blue contacts. So for me, I like the positive interaction with like people, like my own people, that I love. And then I think I haven't had, the only worst interaction is maybe like if I think there comes a time for every person who likes to build armor that they build it a little too big and take it to a crowded convention, and it's just horrible for everybody involved. that you're just like, it's kind of a learning curve that you're like, it looks cool and should probably be limited to
Standing in an
photo
area.
shoot. Right, because I there was a period where it was kind of like with the Overwatch and Mercy, where I build big wings and they would puncture through the skin, and I was like, okay, it's time to rethink, because that at that point you're getting into engineering, and overall, it's not best to be on a body for like 4 to 6 hours. Just
Body's not
don't
meant to have
save
weight
yourself.
pull in that certain way.
Yes, and sometimes those are like photo shoot only cosplays, and just it's not that anybody did anything to me, but kind of when we go to conventions, James is diabetic, so we forget about our blood sugar, and you're just kind of abusing your body to some point when you go through that. So it's just those were the negative like consequences that I had to learn to come back from, and don't do the really big builds, and always have snacks.
It's definitely a young man's game, you know. Um, One time at Fan Expo, I think it was Fan Days, there was a cosplayer. He will remain nameless, but he really had the worst con ever because he was going. He was really going. He was really derogatory to a friend of mine, and she was having a really bad con, and eh, consequently, that was when I met her, Margaret, for the first time, you know, and so there was an upside and a downside, but yeah, yeah, that con was terrible because this person threatened to pull a certain cosplayer's badge, and I'm like, man, shut up, you know?
It's like, some of the bigger cosplay group have
Yeah.
really structured politics, and sometimes they take the fun out of it, and then it becomes just really political, and then people are like, no thanks.
Yeah, no thanks.
Nothing worse than con drama.
Yeah.
Right, there's our things
Save it
worse
for your
than con
mama,
drama.
you know? Yeah. So that is the worst convention that I've ever had, you know? But anyway.
I had one
But
where
she's
I threw up on myself. That was my fault.
Oh God.
I was
Was
I
it?
was blackout drunk in the hotel room though, so it's fine.
Okay,
Oh my God.
I was like, was it drinking induced or just
Yes.
not enough water? Drinking.
It was absolutely drinking juice. That's why I learned don't drink half a bottle of 100 proof vodka in 4 hours. But whatever.
Oof.
By
But
bottle,
you
I
know,
mean candle.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you do group cosplays, that can go sour pretty quick, you know?
I've done
Pretty quick.
well, I had mentioned before, like I was in some groups before. They all dismembered and dismantled one time. And I cosplayed quite a few characters that weren't my choice, but it was, hey, we need this character built in here. Like,
Yeah.
cool, I'll play this character, and I'm fine playing the unnamed character or the not like they're in the background or they're like third from main character kind of thing. And like, we've had big photo shoots with some even bigger things. Like I cosplayed with Yu-Gi-Oh stuff back in 2009 to 2010. That's when that was at its height of like little.
As long as you
stuff.
weren't Joy. Were you Joy? Joey?
No, I was not Joey. I cosplayed Bandit Keith, which was
Oh
all
God.
the in American jokes. I cosplayed as Jinzo. Y'all saw the one I put on my Instagram, which I don't have. I want to remake that
Yeah.
at some point. But like Yu-Gi-Oh was super popular in cosplay community at that time, and there was a really popular cosplay group that cosplayed Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff that would come to Texas conventions. So it was a massive group, and their group was fine. It was the groups that were kind of jockeying for position to be friends with that group would argue with themselves, and I was in those. So like, and I'm an adult, and I'm a functioning adult with real life problems, and a lot of these people didn't have a lot of grasp on the real world. It's like, and I was like, I was the adult in the situation. Like, yeah, y'all have your arguments. Don't include me in those. If you want to cosplay, let me know. But don't throw me in any Zoom, any Skype messengers or instant messenger stuff, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, con drama is something I'm well versed in. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's go back to some positives. We're getting close to the end of here, so I want to get through these things here. I want to talk about D&D. We've very rarely touched on it. We're just talking about who you people are before characters and with characters you play. But I want to know the characters you play on pencil and paper. And the best way, I think, is to go into D&D when you started. I know you mentioned at the very beginning that, James, you started back in '85 with first and the old editions where, man, those are hard. Then
Thinko, man. Thinko.
Margaret, you were lucky enough to start in the easier times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call these, they're the gray times, and then they're the light times now. Do you guys have any? I know they've probably seen some things about new 5.5 or D&D 1 or 6th edition, whatever they want to call it. Have you guys have any thoughts about those things coming up? Have you seen anything trickling out?
Last night we bought the new Player's Handbook. Yeah. We're leaving through it, you know.
I'm excited about the extra healing dice for level 1. Just because we started another campaign with some coworkers, and we're like at level 3.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm always one that likes to start a new campaign at level 1, but those fights, you're going down multiple times. Like everybody in the party is going down multiple times, getting knocked unconscious. But
nothing more fun than spending your one spell and then being done for the
right.
I guess I'll take a nap.
So I'm excited about that, and I think we just got the new handbook, but one of his star players, because in that game we have long running and I'm a monk, and he's like, oh, they get extra action, and Corey, we'll say his name because Corey's like a
Corey, you're great, man. You are great.
World of Warcraft.
I don't know who you are, Corey. But you sound amazing.
He is. We want to get you guys to meet someday, but he just takes to D&D to like, I mean, he's read like pretty much all of it and gotten all the but yeah, he was like, your monk gets this and that, and I mean, the artwork is fantastic because in the 5e they kind of had the picture of the different classes, just kind of, it's like a third of the page. Now they get their whole splash page that, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
there was the.
I'm glad the 5. What do you like to refer to the next edition as? 5.5 D&D 1.
5.5. Yeah.
I feel like a 5.5.
That fits. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for the new edition, or the new edition, to see what I could take from it and implement it. There's some things on there that I don't really entirely like. They've changed a lot of classes and made them somewhat vastly different, and I don't want to play those, so I just won't. But there's a lot of things. They've revamping the structure of a book, making it easier to find stuff is great, and it's something that's necessary. They have mechanics in there, so I am excited for all of that. I love playing D&D, but who knows? We'll see in a couple years how much information they pump out there, and reviews, and just see what they have to errata and change just as new feedback comes in. What is both of your favorite character you have ever played?
I have played my character, Will Fellows, for a bard through 2nd edition, 3rd edition, 3.5. No, we don't mention 4. And then and then I played 5.0. Yeah. And I played him always, you know.
A bard through all those editions, that's tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 2.0 was like you could cast wizard spells and things like that. So anyway, but he's been revamped a couple of times, you know.
Isn't there like a Will Fellows Jr.?
Yeah, there was a Will Fellows Jr. in okay, this is sad.
Is this an abandoned
To my
stepchild? That's why we don't talk about 4th edition?
eternal shame. Yes, yes.
We don't talk about
It was
it's
a
too
Will
sad.
Fellows Jr. Yep, it's very sad.
Yeah.
To my eternal shame. I'm gonna go flail myself now. Excuse me.
What did you do to this kid?
I like. Yeah.
Well, I only played it for like 3 games, and then I was like, I do not like 4th edition, you know?
Yeah, but the
I do
idea
not
of
like it at
importing
all.
him into 5th edition never came up. So you're like, I'm abandoning this child.
Well, it was during 4th edition, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did play him, but like as an NPC for our 5e
Yeah.
game.
Okay, that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's the abandoned child.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I played him because with Brett, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played.
Yeah. I like all my characters.
You have to have a favorite. You can't get out
I-
of this question.
Yeah. I'll say my favorite is Brutal Maiden.
Yeah.
I've only played her in one shot. Like a she's the orc.
We really need to give her a name, a real name.
Yeah, she's multi-classing as a barbarian.
And she's half orc.
Yeah, she's half orc, but she sounds like, I don't know if you've ever seen the regular show
Yes.
with like Mordecai and Rigby. She sounds like Muscle Man.
Oh my god.
And she's like, you know who taught me how to fight? It was my mom. And they're like, Brutal Maiden, that's the second table you've broken in this tavern. Get the hell out of here. You gotta pay us for the tables you keep breaking. So
Remember, Brutal, it's a 200 gold piece deposit, man.
yeah. And I think we played her for a one shot. That games ran for Halloween. That was like, we were invited to the was it the Unseelie Court?
Yeah.
Or like, some dark fae ball that a musical act, something happened in the musical act, and I was like, brothers, it's my time. It's just like, just rage metal. She was really fun to play.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite character you have played? Take that as you will.
Yeah, so my very first character, because I'm the eldest daughter of 3, was a cleric.
Hello, Mom.
Very vanilla, half elf cleric. And I was just a little pocket healer for our barbarian. And that was before I got into roleplay. And I was like, just please kill me so I don't have to use all my spell slots on healing. So she's my very first character. And she's just, I don't even like, well, no, she fell in love with Will Fellows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my very first, because it's like your first is like kind of more of a reflection of you, and then your last is like, I'm gonna play mage hand carrying a loaf of bread, and that's my character. That's my character. Yeah.
I played a Minotaur fighter from Kryn, and his name was Corin, and he unfortunately got killed. So, and I did all this artwork for him. And I'm like, darn it!
You did the cardinal sin. You
to throw it away.
did character art before you had 5 sessions.
I got it attached to him here.
Should have got a tattoo. That really would have cursed him. What? The idea of, what was it?
He was killed in the snow.
The generic cleric is ironic, because my first character was a generic dwarf fighter. He was as Gimli could be without the Scottish accent. And then when I came back and we had a campaign started a couple, like 6 years ago, I played as the dwarven cleric, the healer of healers, and like, I'm going to heal everybody. Because I realized I like to play support. I don't like to be the main character. I'll play the main character outside of combat. In combat, I want everyone to live. Mostly me. Clerics are real good at staying alive. The DM targets you.
Yeah.
They are unless you go up. The big bads kind of figure out
Who's healing?
who to take down, who's healing the party, and you get blasted with everything, and you get hit
Guilty.
first.
Well, our DM had the notorious issue of attacking monks and attacking clerics. So at the start of this last campaign we just did, one of the players was a monk cleric. So like, or they're a monk druid, which is the healer.
Yeah.
Like, you've just put the giant target on your back. Like, how quickly will you die?
Yeah.
And they didn't
Yeah.
die. They just got they retired the character before it got too bad. Well, we've covered a lot of topics. One final topic is not on the primer. This is a curveball for you. Is there anything I typically ask this to everyone, but it's at the beginning and it's people who always come on here. Is there anything you wanted to talk to me about? Any questions? Anything you just wanted to state? What do you want to talk about?
I think for me, I would love if you did more classes on the art of the one shot, because I would like to do one shot. I don't have a full campaign in me. Like, I get tired of like storylines and stuff. But because I know you've kind of talked about it on other shows and stuff. I guess what's your top 2 tips for? Because I think you do an amazing. You put a lot of thought into the one shot.
I'm a coordinator and manager. I do have to put thought in everything because I have to teach idiots. So D&D is a great way of projecting a lot of information in a very compact little amount. One-shots are awesome. I always recommend everyone run a one-shot because if you have a bad one-shot, cool. You don't have to ever play that one again. You can just learn from literally ask your players, like, hey, here's what I think happened that I effed up on. What do you think? And take their honest opinion. Don't let them sugarcoat it. And see right through their crap. It's like, oh, you really effed up on X, Y, and Z. Like, cool. I'm going to fix that, or I'm just never going to do that part again, and I'm going to do something else. And because a lot of people don't have a campaign in them because those are hard to organize. People love getting together for some one-shots, though, where they can try out their goofy characters. And if you can find DMs to be in your one-shot, it's a great idea because, 1, they'll give you honest feedback, and 2, they'll play the dumbest shit you have ever seen. Like a duck, true polymorphed into a fighter. So, one-shots are great. And one-shots that take too long, like, oh, we had planned for 4 hours, it's taking way longer, could become 2 shots. Or mini campaigns. Mini campaigns are typically anything between 3 and 10 sessions, depending on the amount you know. If you don't want to do a long form campaign, it's way easier to march out a story over that time frame of 4 to 10 sessions than it is to, I need to get all this done into one session. One session really needs to focus on one primary topic. Don't give a bunch of options. It's railroady, but every DM will tell you, like, I got this for you.
Yeah.
Your whole campaign is railroaded. You just don't see the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our DM for our thing, Eric, we're going to start doing some DM discussion stuff where we really delve into basically all the aspects of starting a campaign, running a campaign, solving problems, ad-libbing on the site, using AI to shore up some of your weaknesses. I've started using AI in campaign when I run them just because I don't want to generate names for 5 legendary magic items. I'm like, it's just, hey ChatGPT, can you tell me 5 legendary items related to folklore in the world that I've already prepped you information for? And it'll pump out 5 of them. They'll give you what it might do, where they might find it, what they might have to do to get to it. And it's like, cool. I'm not copy pasting that because it's usually pretty crappy, but that's a good primer to start building out and filling it in with extra information. That's an idea of something that can come up in the future.
I might want to pick your brain later because I'm I'm revisiting a 25-year-old campaign.
Yeah, you talked about this.
Everybody
Like,
is
boy.
everybody is aging their characters 25 years. You know, I found all my old players, and we're doing it on Discord. So, and also on Roll20. So, yeah,
Well, I
it's
hope
it's
you
really
get
hard.
the best of luck on that, because that could be really fun, or it could be kind of disappointing. But as long as everyone's fun, it can be disappointing.
Oh, so far we've had 2 sessions. The first was great. The second was sorry.
Improve.
But yeah. I'm really excited about it, but anyway, yeah.
That's awesome. I am glad that you both could come on here. I know we had issues, and it turns out those issues were mine. So when you play your games, make sure anytime you do any type of interviews with people, make sure that your own headset is on, even though you've been doing this for 75 episodes. But I appreciate you guys coming on here and working through some troubles, and like, we were going to do all kinds of stuff to try to get this to work, and I'm glad we got it to work. And I'm glad you guys could come on here. I love talking to you guys every time we meet up. I love the Critical Role meetups. I wish I could go to more of them. I love just meeting you guys at conventions and just chatting, even out of cosplay. It's super fun. It's always good to have someone that you can just like, oh, this person's here. I want to go talk to them. And just glad to have you guys around.
Thank you so much. We love you, Jace. You're such a good friend.
You're the best, man.
And you know
You're
so
the
much
best.
about D&D.
I know a lot about other stuff too, but D&D's way cooler to talk about.
You
on the
do.
stream.
You do.
Yeah.
No, but you do.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
I can
you
tell you how
do.
to drywall
And,
a patch of drywall thing too, but that's real boring for Twitch. But you two get to enjoy the most fun aspect of this interview is that I would like you both to roll a D100 so we can see what happens on this Wild Magic Surge chart.
Okay. James is going first.
43.
43. For the next minute, you can teleport up to 20 feet as a bonus action on each of your turns.
Man. Okay.
79.
79. 10 off of a good number, because we all love 89. Illusionary butterflies and flower petals flutter in the air within you for 10 feet for the next minute. Yeah, you're surrounded by petals and butterflies now.
Nice.
Nice.
It's better than his Wild Magic Sorcerer in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
You turned Karlak into a sheep or something like that. You're like, cool. We're gonna die.
I did a one shot on Sunday for our Sunday DM group, and I played a Wild Magic Sorcerer Pyro obsessed person, and I was level spelling all the time. Like, I want to roll on this magic surge thing, and it never got to. So, I fireballed my own party. We had a rogue who thought he was real confident. It's like, it's okay, I got my reaction back. I get uncanny dodge back. It's like, you do. That's great. I fireballed him.
We don't.
Like, well, uncanny dodge is not evasion. We were level 6, not 7. And I looked at him right in the face, like, I knew this would happen. And he dropped him down to 2 HP. It's like, that was my mistake. It's like, even with a group full of DMs, we all make our mistakes. That's the lesson in that one.
Yeah.
We were trying to feel our characters out. But again, thank you guys for coming. If you would like to join up with the DFW Critical, if you're in the Texas area, North Texas, South Texas, we move around. We have a lot of friends in the area.
Yeah.
Head up on Facebook at DFW Critter Crew. It is right up there. Should be the only thing that comes up, unless you're a place where there's an acronym for DFW. It's not Dallas Fort Worth. Join us. There's a Discord where we will talk about stuff. We discuss the show. We discuss spoilers in a spoiler chat. DM advice can pop up on there. So please hop on there. Follow Glitchmatic on Instagram. I think he's on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, so follow.
I think I'm on Twitter, yes.
Miho Mouse
and I'm on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Cosplay on Instagram. They're both awesome. You two should make a group together cosplay, where it's just you two. We do a lot of group photos, but your individuals are just fine. I'm Jace. You know who I am. My socials are nowhere because you'll never find me. But
Oh.
If there's anything you two would like to say before I send us off for the evening.
Thank you so much.
We love you all very much.
Great to hear. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I really have to go. I hope you liked watching this really crappy show. So please like, follow, and subscribe is what I'm supposed to say. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Good night, everyone. Good night. Farewell.
Good night.
Good night.
Adios.